Yeah, this video is to show the difference between a 69.5 440 6-pack outboard carburetors and the 70 and up outboard carburetors. This carburetor here is from a 69.5, and this one here is from a 70. This one is actually a 340 outboard, but the same thing is a 440, other than they have a different metering plate in them. But what the difference is the 69.5 uses a rectangular metering plate, where the 70s and up use a clip corner metering plate. You see how the corners are clipped. You know, you see the difference in them. So on the body of a 69.5, up here, let me get the metering plate first. How the metering plate's working is this is like your main jet. It's a drilled hole, certain size. The fuel comes into this well here, goes up to this drilled passage that, you know, meters the idle fuel, goes into this chamber here, and then brings it back down to a corresponding hole in the body of the carb, which is this one here. And then the fuel comes down here and into the base plate, into the idle system where you got your air fuel screw. And it starts up here at the top, comes into the metering plate, and it brings it down to here. This is a nothing hole. It's just there. The 70 and up with the clip corners has the metering well here. Comes up, goes through a certain size hole for the idle, goes into this chamber here, but from here it goes actually into this hole here, which also they both have air bleeds up here to emulsify the fuel, and it brings the fuel down. Let me see if I can show you this. I don't know if I can or not. Well, when it comes into this area here where the air bleed is, what they do is they don't have this hole here drilled. They drill a hole in the bottom, and that goes all the way up, all the way even through the air bleed here. So actually that passage is built into the body of the carburetor. If you'll see, you got this hole does not exist on the 70, and this is a nothing hole. And they're transferring the fuel from here through the metering plate to this drilled port, which corresponds to the one in the base of the body here. So what happens is you can't mix these metering plates up, because this one, the clip corner one, will actually screw onto this one. But if you notice, now you have that hole exposed to the fuel that's just sitting in the bowl here. So that fuel is just going to pour right into the idle circuit, which is you're going to have like a super rich condition. So the separator plates are the same between the clip corner and the rectangular one. The separator plate gasket between the metering plate and the separator plate, are different. This is a clip corner, and here's the rectangular one for 69.5. So you want to make sure that you're not trying to put these clip corners on a 69.5, and you're not trying to put these in on a 70 and up. If you want some information on these 69.5, the front carburetor, that's the rear. Here on the front one, the front one's a 6178, and they are cross drilled. I mean, they're not the same size holes. So this one here is the 4393, which is the front carburetor, and the main metering sizes here is on the passenger side is 0.079, driver's side is 0.084, and the idle hole in here is 0.034, and it is the same for the rear one. The idle holes, they're identical. The part number on these is a 34R5113B, and it's the same for the rear one. The only difference is they're drilled different, and they have a different number. Like the rear one is a 6180, to where the front one is a 6178. But the actual part number is the same, but the holes are different sizes. On the rear carburetor, the 4394 is same old 34 idle circuit. On the passenger side it's 0.085, and on the driver's side it's 0.092. So if you wanted to, if you didn't have the correct metering plates, you can look on a chart and you can find these rectangular metering plates and they'll tell you what the sizes of these mains are. And you can buy one that's got smaller sizes and then drill them out to those specs I gave you, and then you'll have a 69.5 correct metering plate as far as metering it. And you can just, if you wanted to, just grind those numbers off and restamp them so you know what's what. And also on these outboard carburetors, holds true to a 4-barrel that has a metering plate system on secondaries, is you want to make sure you use these nitrile floats on them, because if you use a brass float, the brass float actually protrudes farther forward when it's mounted than the nitrile float. So what will happen is when the float's coming up, it'll hang up on this metering plate because you've got all this distance being stacked up with the metering plate and the gasket and the separator plate. So I just figured I'd throw some of that information out there so you guys knows what's going on with these carbs.